So this is my very first session with Ava. I decided to have Susie in the arena with her for this one because she'd never actually been on her own. She'd always been in a field with another little horse for her 3.5 years. So she hadn't done anything on her own and she was really quite stressed about being on her own. So I decided to let Susie be in the arena that first day so that I could sort of load up some tools so that she'd have some idea about what I was talking about when she was in a more stressful situation and being on her own. So here what I'm doing is I'm just redirecting her attention to me every time she gets to the end of the rope and gets away from me. So every time she hits the end of the rope, I would flap the flag and bring her attention and her focus back to me. And so this is the start of her bonding with me and, knowing that she needs to focus on me. And also to help, this was how I taught her leading basically. So now she leads perfectly and she would never pull or anything because she's just learnt to not go to the end of that rope. So once I'd got her to a point where she would stand still with me and wasn't trying to walk away from me anymore, I started to ask her to move around me so that I was starting to get her moving without moving away from me, which again is going to lead to the leading, also the lunging and her connection with me. So then I started teaching her how to be led, and this is the first time that the flag has been used as an aid as well. So originally it was just about getting her focus back on me, and then I started using it as an aid to get her to move. And so as you can see, she was pulling away from me, which, obviously it's the first time she's done it. And so then I used that flag, and she's learned from the first bit, she had learned that when I flapped the flag, she would come back to me. And so that meant that then when I put more pressure on and I used the flag as to ask her to do something, I knew that I wasn't going to get to a point where she was like galloping off, really galloping away from me, because she knew that when I flapped that flag, she should turn her attention back to me. So it just meant that, teaching her this leading was then more safe, because she knew what I meant when I asked her to bring her attention back to me. So this is the end of that week after a couple of sessions, and as you can see, she's more with me now. She's still thinking about the other horses and thinking about Susie, but she is on her own in the arena now, so she'd progressed to being on her own straight away after that first day, because I had her focused on me enough that I knew I could then have her on her own. As you can see, she is still thinking about Susie a little bit. Her leading was pretty good at this point, so this time I'm sort of teaching her to move around me and starting a little bit of lunging. And the reason that I'm using the flag near her shoulder is because I want her to bend her body around me as she moves, so I don't want to whoosh her from behind and her run straight. I want her to focus on me and the flag, so I want her to move around the flag so that she starts getting used to moving with a bend in her body, and it also helps her to stay focused with me. So obviously this is the first time doing this, and you can see that she's struggling with that focus on me when she's moving away from me more than when she's just leading. When she's more out on her own, she was then more insecure, and she was looking for some comfort from elsewhere, because at this point she still didn't trust me to look after her. But the flag is, as you can see there, sort of doing its job of keeping a little bit of focus with me, and trying to get her to move her shoulder out and keep bending around me as she moves. And then in a minute we're going to move on to the other rein, and you can see that she's already starting to get a little bit better. She's starting to keep her focus a little bit more on me, and that flag is getting her to bend her body around me more. This is still that 9th of April, so this is still that first time trying having her moving around me rather than next to me. As you can see, I'm also starting to use a few voice aids here. So I make a noise when I want her attention, and I make a sh noise when I want her to move away from me. I'm probably not making the sh noise here because it's more for when I'm moving her around in the stable and stuff, but I did start introducing some voice aids here, and so now I can make that noise when if she's looking at something, I can just go, and then she brings her attention back to me. So now we move on to a week later, and we're doing a little bit of lunging again. As you can see, she's now a lot more focused on me. She's maintaining that bend in her body a lot better, and you can see from her ear and her head that she's thinking about me a lot more, and she's not thinking so much about the outside. When I do think that I've lost her attention, I'll just flap that flag in front of her or near her head to bring her attention back to me. But she's now a lot more confident, and she's a lot more focused on me, and she's making a much better bend with her body. So because she was quite focused on me, I decided to have a little go at canter. So this is the first time I'd ever asked her to do any canter. And because she's focusing on me, the aid upwards was very quick. And because of me being able to have that more of a bend through her body, you can see that she picked up the right leg. Although she obviously started to look away a little bit when she was in the canter, because she then felt a bit insecure again, but that was the first time we'd done it. So this is nearly 2 weeks later now. I'm doing some mounting practice. I had done laying over her before this, but this is when I'd started introducing the stirrup. But what you can see here is how relaxed she is around me, how happy she is to stand still, how she's focusing on me. You can see her ears are with me. She's not thinking elsewhere anymore, because the work that I've done with her has meant that she trusts me to look after her, and she's not looking for comfort from other horses, because she's quite comfortable with me. And I think that's what meant that this wasn't too stressful for her at all. This is now 2 weeks from that last lunging video, and this is really good that I was able to get this footage, because this sort of shows a lot of what I've been doing to get her to that place where she's with me the way she was with that mountain block. So I'd done a lot of work on her reacting to the flag to become more focused on me and to get her to move. But then I needed to be able to show her that my intention wasn't always for her to move or react when I do something, and that she also needs to learn when I don't mean anything and I don't want her to react. So it's all to do with what intention I have for her. If my energy is up and I want her to do something, and I want her to read that energy the way she would read another horse's energy. And so at the moment I'm just I've got no no intention for her to do anything, and so she won't react to that flag. And the bit that I was doing with her nose was getting her to follow it, so that she's sort of connected to it, and me, because I'm connected to it. And then what I did was I just put the flag above her, so that she gets used to someone or something being above her, which is getting her used to me being on her. And as you can see, she was a little bit more uncomfortable about this. So, but she's not running away, because, she knows I'm not going to do anything that's going to scare her. She just moves a little bit because she's a bit uncomfortable. But because I've done all that work on her being focused and not overreacting, she's not too stressed. And then when she stopped and I saw her sort of change her focus and relax, I took it away, and then I just did it again on the other side. And then I haven't got footage of this, but I then did this the next time that was today, the next time I did this, she didn't react to it at all. But you can see even that second time, she's a lot more relaxed about it being up there. As you can see now, compared to the previous videos, she's just so much more relaxed around me. And that's, I believe, is because I've communicated with her in the same way that a horse might communicate with her. So she knows that I'm going to look out for her, and she's not looking for comfort from anything else because she feels comfortable with me. So this is a little game I play with her, reading my intention for her and my energy. And if I move with intent to move her back legs, and sometimes I don't, and I don't want her to move, and then she's got to not move. So it's just a little game I play with her, and I find I especially do it like before I mount her, because it just makes sure that she's really focused on me and she's not thinking about anything else, because the signals I'm giving her are so light. She has to really be thinking about me if she's going to read them. So it's a really fun little game to play with her, getting her to move her legs and then not move them when I don't have any intention for her to move. And so now we've done a little bit of work with the flag meaning nothing, and with my intention meaning I don't want you to do anything. I then go back to wanting her to do something. So for me, having some intention with the flag and for it to be an aid. And this just teaches her to know when to be reactive, to hopefully try and stop her reacting in the wrong way or reacting to something she shouldn't. If she can read what I'm wanting from her, then hopefully she will always remain calm when I need her to, and will always react when I need her to. I often find, I found in the past with these natural horsemanship type things, that I felt as though it shut the horse down and made the horse desensitized to things and made the horse unreactive. And if I'm going to have a sports horse or a competition horse, a dressage horse, I need a horse that's reactive. So this method that I've now found, I feel does what I need it to do, in that it makes the horse relaxed and gives them those tools that you need to have a really nice, sensible horse, but and that a horse that's not afraid of things, but it also enables you to have a horse that's reactive. And so I teach her that when I point, and then I give her some intention towards her shoulder, and then I would use the flag. And actually today she went off the point. So she's just learning about that. And when I want to stop her, I just slide the rope up and I put some intention towards her back legs so that she crosses them and unwinds herself and brings herself back to a stop. As you can see now, she is moving around with her neck bending and her body bending around me and towards me, and so she's more focused and she's with me and she's not thinking about other things the way she was before. And then when I turn my attention to her feet, she's focused enough that she gets it straight away and she knows to come back to a stop. And you can see how lovely and relaxed she is when she comes back to a stop. So that's really good. And so then we come to the first mounting, and you can see how relaxed she is again. She's happy standing with me, and she knows about my intention. She knows that I'm not intending for her to react. And so, this is a very relaxed and easy first time mounting. And what I really liked was that as I brought my weight back, she took a big deep breath. And then she started yawning, which is a sign of releasing her tension. So I just got off her at that point because I wanted to show her that if she remains relaxed, that the pressure will go away. And so now we get to about a month since she arrived and since the start of this video. And this is my second time getting on her. As you can see, she's not bothered by what I'm doing. She's still really relaxed around me, and she's happy with standing there for me. She knows that I'm not asking her to react, so she's not reacting. And so today I just started another little thing, and I started asking her to bend one way and the other. So she's just getting used to my turning signals, and also before she sort of moves, she's feeling her body move underneath me a little bit. And then I started to ask her to move her hind legs, and this will be how I train her to move forward, and it also will be how I train her to stop for the minute, so that it's the same as with the lunging. She unwinds down to a stop, and then obviously I'll eventually teach her to stop more in a more traditional way. But yeah, so I'm just getting her to do these lateral flexions at the moment. And then I started to add a little bit of my leg until she understood that I wanted her to move. So what I'm looking for is for her to cross her back legs when I ask her to do that. Obviously, you will have seen that first time. Although she did move her front legs. Obviously, I took the pressure off because I was happy with that she moved at all and understood that my leg meant for her to move at all. And then that second time, just then, you see she did move her back leg, but she sort of sidestepped. And really, what I want her to do is cross over. But again, it was an improvement, and she moved from my leg, so I was happy with that. And then that one was sort of better again because she sort of mobilised all of her body. She hadn't quite crossed over yet, but she's starting to get the idea that my leg means for her to move. And then that one there was much better because she crossed over her back legs, and then she thought about moving forward, which is what I'm aiming for her to do. She was better to the left than she was the right, which kind of makes sense considering she's mainly led from the left, so it makes sense for her to find it a bit easier to take instruction from that way. And so we'll do a bit more work on the right next time to get those back legs actually crossing. But you can see then, she did move all four legs that time, so she's definitely starting to get the idea. And then I left it there.